right, here we go. Ready? They're really good. Watch, make sure you don't have to hold on.
On the boardwalk, in the summer night, the Ferris wheel is like the sun. It's the center of the energy, the matrix of the magic. It beckons. Come and be happy. Share the light. Taste the salt breeze. Leave all the rest behind. You're on vacation. Lights. Action. Food. Fun. There's no feeling like the boardwalk. It's a constant call to the excited kid in all of us. The boardwalk is part of our collective imagination. It's an authentic and truly public experience, accessible to all, free, basically unchanged. From the boardwalk, we can still catch a glimpse of the American dream. It's a shared experience, too, tribal in many ways, devoted to the kind of fun that's hard to have alone. It's a carnival, a circus with a 2-mile midway.
Spring will soon be gone. Summer's coming on. And I'm dreaming of a life the summer love. And all to think about now that school is out. Heading down the shore to have a ball once more. Whoa, whoa, Wildwood days.
Good evening. I'm Bob Ingram, and down there is the last of the world's great boardwalks in Wildwood, New Jersey. Atlantic City, Asbury Park, and Coney Island are shadows now, but Wildwood is still 2 miles of magic, alive and pulsing with the footsteps of 250,000 pilgrims on a Saturday night. I've been a boardwalk rat since I was little. How could I not have been? There were gypsies, wild animals, even wild men.
Hey guys, win or lose, I'll give you a dolly. Win or lose, I'll give you a dolly, Mom. Come on over and play. Everybody plays, everybody wins. Hey, don't you want to win a dolly?
The Wildwood, New Jersey boardwalk stands on a 5-mile stretch of Barrier Island beach that has a recorded history reaching back over 350 years. In 1609, the great English navigator Henry Hudson sailed the bark Half Moon into the Delaware Bay. There were shoals and swift-running tides, but no buoys or lighthouses to guide him. He swung the Half Moon about, rounded the point at what is now known as Cape May, heading north into the Atlantic, hugging the coast. A sailor, Robert Jewett, was gazing shoreward at the surf breaking on the beach. Beyond the beach, he saw a verdant tangle of summer forest. In his journal, he wrote, "A very good land to fall in with, and a pleasant land to see." He was looking at what would later be called 5 Mile Beach, Holly Beach, and finally in 1926, Wildwood, New Jersey. And millions of others in their own time, in their own way, would see it the same. Long before Hudson, Lenni Lenape Indians explored and cut trails through the dense forest of the island. Following their departure, a small group of offshore farmers used the land via ferry boat to graze their livestock. Circa 1870, a few fishermen became the first white settlers, erecting shacks at the north end of the island and naming it Anglesey. In 1874, the government built a lighthouse at Hereford Inlet, and the future was set in motion. During the 1880s, crude log bridges were built and the first railroad line rolled in, having a profound impact on the area. Soon enough, a handful of entrepreneurs and visionaries imagined the narrow strip of sand as a playground extension of Philadelphia and its surrounding metropolitan area, at least in the summer season. The trains were cheap, and all but the poorest could take a day trip to the seashore. But what would they do after the beach and a wilting box lunch? One of Wildwood's first carousels was a small clanking machine that offered both horses and chairs for riders. In a rustic pavilion nearby, you could get out of the sun or have a picnic. From such humble beginnings, local impresarios like Gilbert H. Baker began to see the enormous possibilities of seashore recreation. In 1890, Baker extended and refurbished a ramshackle site at the foot of Cedar Avenue called Excursion Pavilion. It was the resort's first amusement pier. A handful of other piers followed, and an infant boardwalk began to grow in a somewhat haphazard jumble, all the while becoming very popular with the ever-growing summer crowds. Finally, in 1904, the essential red cedar structure went into place. It was 32 feet wide and 4,925 feet long, and it was elevated 12 feet above the beach. From this point on, the boardwalk expanded at a pace that can only be described as uniquely American. Buildings, stores, concessions, then attractions and amusements of every configuration sprung up and replaced one another like a giant rickety wooden puzzle. And almost every summer for over 100 years, the people arrived in droves. Following the First World War and throughout the Roaring '20s, the boardwalk continued to mold and evolve. 3 high-profile additions to this period were Ocean Pier, the Jackrabbit Coaster, and the magnificent athletic facility Sportland. More restaurants shot up alongside shooting galleries, games of chance, and dance halls that might run a weekly Charleston contest for flappers. During the Great Depression of the '30s, the boardwalk in the town of Wildwood had to fight for their very survival. Much of that decade witnessed sparse crowds who were short on funds. Summer passenger trains, normally filled to capacity, arrived with only one coach. Reflections of those times on the boardwalk can be found in marathon dance contests, 50-cent dinners, free concerts, and every other cut-rate offering that could be made. After the Great Depression, another crisis loomed for the country and the life of the boardwalk: war. Soon enough, Navy planes and ships could be seen from the boards patrolling the coast. By the summer of 1942, uniforms were a common sight among the vacationers. Along with the rides and stands, strollers could now find a Red Cross relief booth and USO canteens. But one of the gloomier manifestations of those war years was the dimming and dousing of the glittering boardwalk lights due to the German submarine wolf packs prowling off the North Atlantic seaboard. The boardwalk's post-war years are legendary, almost mythic. For nearly 2 decades, there were record-breaking crowds and unmatched growth due to the flood tides of young families with extra cash. Brightly colored facades went up everywhere, as well as exciting new lighting, signage, and movie theaters. In 1949, the tram car was introduced, and the morning bicycle ride became an enduring popular pastime. There was the ultra-modern Hunts Pier and the Starlight Ballroom, a dance hall that featured big bands, and later, such icons of the teen record hop as Dick Clark. But as always, there were remnants of the past amongst the new. A famous hot dog stand from the 1930s, a reliable restaurant from the 1920s, a favorite juice bar or ice cream parlor where your grandparents dated. Even some of the old rides were still clanking along, 35 years outdated, but full of memories. This aspect of the boardwalk is as powerful as any new addition, perhaps even more so. And it continues to this day like a basic ingredient in an old family recipe that changes a little with every generation. The stock and trade of the Wildwood Boardwalk always was, and always will be, families. And from the late 1970s on, it was the local families, the Nichols, the Mauries, the Catanosos, and a host of others who initiated an ongoing core renaissance from which everything around it could grow. At the beginning of the new millennium, the boardwalk is nothing less than a glorious reincarnation of everything it has always been. On it, you can experience the past, the present, and maybe even a little bit of the future. It is a dream museum of memory in the heart, as well as a living phenomenon that pulsates from the wellspring of a single irresistible idea: endless summer. This is my summer home. It might look like a trailer, and this might look like a trailer park, but actually this is a mobile home, and that's a mobile home community. I just wanted to go on record because that's what they've been telling me since I moved in here. At any rate, This is a 1956 Marlette, and I paid $1,500 for it from an old ex-cop. Wildwood and the Boardwalk are 10 minutes over the causeway there. It's very quiet here. I come here in all seasons, even the winter. I love it down here when it snows. But during the season, my next door neighbors, the Randazzos, only come on weekends, and as fate would have it, they're deaf mutes. On the other side is Margie. Margie is well into her 80s, so it's quiet there as well. I have no telephone, I have no television, so this is the perfect getaway. When I want people and action, I go over into Wildwood. Boardwalk usually brings to mind hot sun in the summertime and cool breezes and big crowds at night. But the Boardwalk has many other faces. Early autumn is called the shoulder season nowadays, and there's still plenty happening on the Boardwalk, like the annual classic car show, with the cool cars all primed and polished and purring, lined up the whole length of the Boardwalk, drawing thousands of people from up and down the East Coast, enjoying one last day in the sun. It's quiet in the late fall mainly, though, with the piers empty and the rides under wraps or stored in ghostly silence, waiting for another summer. The brightly painted and fanciful amusement cars look forlorn and lonely. All lined up indoors, they seem out of their element. You can still picture them in all their full summer glory, and if you listen close enough, you can even hear the din of the rides and the music and the sounds of happy vacationers. All the stores and shops have boarded up and shut down tight, hoping that they can survive one of the powerful northeasters that have been known to pound the Jersey Shore over the years. On a fine Indian summer day, you can even put on a pair of shorts and touch up your tan. But finally, the fall Boardwalk is a graceful bridge to winter, one of the only signs of life being a bass fishing tournament held on the beach, not far from the end of the boards. In the winter, the Boardwalk sleeps, cold, deserted, windswept and forgotten. I love it here then. I usually begin my cold weather walk at the same place I do during the height of the summer, at the beginning of the Boardwalk in North Wildwood. Sometimes the winter Boardwalk is gray, rolled up, like a film noir set, edgy in its desolation. On other days, with a clear high sun, it can be bright and crisp. I walk through the endless wind and at times feel like the last man on earth, suspended between the emptiness of the sea and the sky. I am drawn here most strongly then. It is my secret, shared now. On this particular sunny day, a few hardy souls have ventured up to the boards for a morning walk or a leisurely bike or skateboard ride. The sounds from the one arcade that is open are faint and distant, ghost whispers of summer. Each Christmas I walk on the Boardwalk, a private, personal celebration. One Christmas, in the frozen snow, my footsteps cracked and rang through the silence like pistol shots. I shouted, "Merry Christmas!" but there was no echo. In the spring, the Boardwalk is new wood and paint, and the sound of money being invested. It is hope and a stirring to life, the coming season beckoning and stretching off to the heat of a new summer. It is the beginning, and all things are possible now. The seagulls fly low again, white and clean. Around Easter Sunday, the families start to come, sun-starved and eager, pallid from the endless winter. Laughter and music are heard once more in the softening air, and there is the sharp smell of food being cooked. On weekends, the job seekers cross the causeway, summer already in their eyes. They wear shorts, and at night, gather to celebrate their endless youth and new freedom. As the days lengthen, the Boardwalk slowly unlimbers. Here a stand opens, there a ride whirs to life. The Ferris wheel makes its first majestic spin of the new season, symbol and substance. On the Boardwalk, spring is the fine-tuning of 1,000 instruments. But it is the summer that brings the Boardwalk's full power and glory. It begins with the first burst of energy on Memorial Day weekend, when another year of feet and faces is drawn by the magnetic pull of the sun and sea and sand. Even in summer, though, the Boardwalk has faces within faces. The morning is all motion. Bikes, rollerblades, runners, walkers, all fresh and keen, rolling out the day, moving into it, tasting its promise with the salt air. My summer morning usually begins with a walk past the Wild and Whale mural. Then I meet my old friend Babaloo, a fellow boardwalk rat in good standing, for our morning bike ride. That's Babaloo with me there. We do 12 miles from his condo in North Wildwood. The heart of our ride is the boardwalk. Babaloo used to be a maniac, pumping as fast as he could from end to end, trying to set a personal record on every ride. Nowadays we cool it, taking in the scenery and the people, enjoying the cool morning air and the open spaces before the crowds really start to build up. Sometimes we ride out to the piers and stop and watch the water parks open, or a ride being tested.
This is Tony Rossi. Tony, what do you do here at Maury's?
I'm the assistant attraction maintenance manager here at Maury's Piers.
Tony told me he's going to be 40 directly, and he's been in this business since when?
When I was 15 years old.
Where was that?
Seaside Heights, New Jersey.
And then where?
I went to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho for 4 years to help build an amusement park.
And now you're back on the boardwalk.
Back at the ocean where I belong.
All right. Why don't you tell us a little bit about, I guess you call it, the genealogy of these rides, Tony?
What you're going to find here at Maury's Pier is a mix of mostly European rides. They're made in Germany, Holland, a couple are made in France, Italy. What we do is the Maury's have spent a lot of money and a lot of research. We go to the Oktoberfest, we travel Europe, and we find what makes money and makes people happy at the fairs. And we bring those rides here.
You had mentioned that there's not too many rides made in America.
We have some, but we don't buy a lot of the American-made rides. We have our fair share, but most of it is going to be our flashy European spectacular.
I see. Why don't you tell us about the computer aspect of the rides?
The newer rides you're going to find are all controlled by a computer, programming logic controller, PLC we call it. The older rides were controlled by what you call relay logic. Contactors, timers, sensors, all done by one dependent on the other. Now the computer monitors everything that goes on from start to finish.
Now, how did you learn all this computer stuff?
I had to learn or I was going to sing.
OJT.
That's it.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Families are a big part of the morning boardwalk traffic. Sometimes they'll rent bikes together, laughing and hollering back and forth, spread all the way across, a tribe in motion. Or there will be the young families, babies in bike seats and little kids on their little bikes, serious-faced and self-conscious, sure that everyone is watching them. You get a good look at the families in the morning. There is space between them, and they're rested and happy. The day a bright promise before them, as long and inviting as the boardwalk itself. I know I feel that way. I always find myself whistling after my bike ride.
This is the legendary Boardwalk Lou. Lou is the boardwalk inspector in North Wildwood. Lou was born on the 4th of July, 82 years ago in South Philadelphia, right, Lou?
That's right.
How long have you been in Wildwood?
I've been in Wildwood 54 years.
And how long have you been the boardwalk inspector?
It's my 24th year.
Wow. Tell me what the boardwalk inspector does. I've seen you up here for years, but
Right.
I can never figure it out.
Any problem of any type that comes up on the boardwalk, whether it's a loose board or whether it's a problem with a merchant in a vacation or someone's lost, especially we do get a lot of lost children up here, we make sure we get to the parents. And 24 years, we haven't lost a child yet.
Really?
Really. Well, I'm up here in the morning, anywhere around 6:30 to 6:45. And then I cruise the boardwalk all through the rest of the day up to 12 o'clock. We have an ordinance here, no bicycles are permitted on the boardwalk after 11 a.m. So I make the announcement, not only make the announcement, I cruise the boardwalk and then to try to get the most as I can off the boardwalk. And that's about it.
In the afternoon, the boardwalk becomes an extension of the beach, a sandy-footed restaurant, rest stop, and general store where the sunbound nomads will shuttle back and forth across the wide white sand. It's a good idea not to forget anything before you go to the beach, though, because it's a half-mile hike in the heat between the boardwalk and the beach. But if you do forget something, the boardwalk beach stores will have it all. Suntan lotion, kites, boogie boards, sand toys, souvenirs, bottled water, you name it. I love the beach stores. I mean, look at those blazing colors and exotic shapes, and even the motion. These stores are like happy little museums or art exhibits. They're really hot. A lot of people eat lunch on the boardwalk, and more often than not, this means pizza, the great American portable food. What's a day on the boardwalk without pizza? This brings us to the great, eternal Max versus Sam's pizza debate. I like both Max and Sam's pizza about the same. I like Max sausage a little better, but then I like Sam's crust better. To each his own. This is Mrs. T. Mrs. T, I've been coming past for years, and I see you sitting there. You seem to be just thinking. What are you thinking about when you're sitting there?
Thinking about my customers at Max Pizza.
Really? How long have you been sitting there thinking about it?
Oh, Max has been here for 50 years.
How about you?
And I've been with Max for 30 years. I've been on the boardwalk for 50 years.
What changes have you seen in the time you've been on the boardwalk, do you think?
Well, you know, every generation changes. Everything's a little bit different than it used to be, just like we are.
How about your customers? Have they changed much?
We have had generation of customers. Grandfathers brought their little kids, now the little kids, our fathers bringing their little kids. So we have regular customers. We have generation families come here year after year, year after year.
Image-wise, Max has that wonderful purple color, but who can beat a name like Sam's Pizza Palace? Theater-wise, I have to give the edge to the pizza men at Sam's. Anthony, Tony, Manuel, and Pete know each other's moves like the Harlem Globetrotters. They're in sync. It's showtime at Sam's Pizza, baby. And look at their faces. They're like Bellini portraits. They could be in an Italian Renaissance mural. The rides are cranking in the afternoon and the piers are filling up. The tram cars are in perpetual motion too. Their arrival announced by that tinny, disembodied female voice, repeating over and over and over, "Watch the tram car, please. Watch the tram car, please. Watch the tram car, please." It's the boardwalk summer mantra. The games are happening now with the Spielers in full voice, hawking their ragtime prizes to the afternoon strollers. They don't seem to recognize women, though, because all their come-ons start with "Hey guys" or "Yo guys." Are these guys? The arcade rats are out in full force by the afternoon, too, ignoring sun and sand and surf and even the boardwalk itself for the endless indoor pleasures available for the endless dropping of coins. It's Kid Vegas. This morning I'm with Will Maury and Jack Maury. They are CEO and Executive Vice President, respectively, of the Maury Organization. The Maury Organization is, surprisingly, in the business of fun. Will, tell us a little bit about the Maury Organization today.
Well, it's pretty complex in many respects. It's still certainly grounded by family. There are a large number of family members involved from my father and uncle, another uncle that was involved. But there's also now probably 85 full-time employees. In the summertime, we go up to 2,500 staff members. So it's grown tremendously since the first day, certainly, of one giant slide and a few other rides on Maury's Pier. Jack's really responsible for the programming and the creative direction of the pier. We've stepped back and we've looked at the pier now as a tremendous opportunity to express creativity, and really we want it to be a center for family fun. We want to use this facility, the boardwalk and the beach, and how it all integrates together for a place for families to come in an authentic, footloose, fancy-free kind of environment. And Jack understands that more than anybody, not only in the company, but I think almost anybody in the region.
You said you get to dream.
I guess from an academic level, I tend not to think of it as dreaming or being a visionary. My job is to really sort of look at the essence of fun. We try very hard to surround ourselves with some of the best consultants in the industry. By and large, this is not something that one can really delegate, but we have to at the same time surround ourselves with folks that understand sort of the root value of fun, and that's bringing parents, children, or husband and wife together in ways that some of the artificial environments, some of the virtual environments, other theme parks can't necessarily do. It's difficult, it's difficult to do. It's difficult to really even understand. But this environment allows us a better opportunity to do that than one that we would build from scratch.
That's me getting hooked up with Jack Maury for a ride in the Sky Coaster. I've never been real big on Scare Devil rides, and as we were getting slowly raised up for our hellfall, Jack tried to loosen me up by telling me that he'd done the same ride with his young sons and that they loved it. Trouble is, I haven't been anybody's young son for a long time. Those screams were pure pleasure on Jack's part and pure terror on mine, and we had to do the same thing twice for the camera. Then I went with Jack's Uncle Bill Maury for a spin on the Nor'easter, and I hated that even more. Backwards and upside down free falls are not my idea of fun. Bill screamed like a banshee the whole time. At first I thought he was as scared as I was, but then I saw that he was having the time of his life. At least I didn't have to pay.
Today we're very fortunate to have Fred Langford with us. Fred is actually a unique figure in the annals of Wildwood. He's the designer of the water parks here on the piers. Tell us how you got into the designing business of water parks.
We didn't see too much of each other, Will Maury and I, Will Sr., until 1978. He came to me and said, hey Fred, we bought a water slide. My brother Bill and myself, we bought one for Maury's Pier and one for Mariners Landing. I said, what's a water slide? Will Maury Sr. and myself, we said, you know, I think we could build a mini park. No one had ever built a mini water park before. Right out, we've already got 2 water slides to start. We'll put a little lazy river in there, which we call an endless river. And in 1985 is when we actually built the first mini park. Maury's came along in '88.
The water parks cook during the day. The ocean is too tame for these kids. They like to flip, flop, fly, and float, and they do it by the hour. This place is like an ant colony with running water. They never stop. Up, down, around, among, and through. Splish, splash. And the noise, screams, whistles, shouts, yells, all to a never-ending background of loud, hot music. What a life. Kidville. Who needs the beach? Nobody familiar with the Boardwalk remembers when there wasn't skee-ball. I think the first skee-ball came over on the Mayflower. I haven't played it since I was a kid, but here I am bowling away. For a while I thought I was cool, bouncing the wooden ball off the side and hitting a couple of 50-pointers. Then I noticed the young woman next to me. She was like the Michael Jordan of skee-ball. Whomp, 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 50, 50, 50, on and on. And she wasn't banging them off the side either. So much for my cool. I had better luck with the gypsy fortune teller. I love gypsies. They're always at least one step ahead of you. And this woman was dead on. She said I would be taking a trip very shortly. And she was right. I'm going back to my trailer now for a little nap. And then I'll get spiffed up for tonight. See you then. At dusk, the seashore sky turns a rich, mysterious blue. And as it deepens to black, the boardwalk etches itself ever brighter into the night, like footlights coming up for the evening performance. It's a magical time. It's the boardwalk's public time, too, when stiltmen walk and jugglers juggle, and even a giant Elvis roams the boards. There's stuff like hula hoop contests. Even the kids who've never done it before get right into it. The twist lives, and the hula hoop is alive and well in Wildwood, the doo-wop capital of America. Dusk is public music, too. The swirl of bagpipes and kilted pipers marching against the deep blue sky can give you chills, even in July. And no Boardwalk summer musicale would be complete without the familiar jangle of a Philadelphia string band. Yo, who's that old dude trying to do the mummer's strut?
This is one of my favorite people on the boardwalk, Lou Demise. Every night before I go for my stroll, I stop and listen to at least 2 of Lou's songs. Lou is, to me, an entertainer.
Oh, when the sun beats down and burns a tar up on the roof, and your shoes get so hot you wish your tired feet were fireproof. Under the boardwalk, down by the sea, yeah. On a blanket with my baby, that's where I will be. Under the boardwalk, out of the sun. Under the boardwalk, we'll be having some fun. Under the boardwalk, the people walking above. Under the boardwalk, we'll be making love under the boardwalk. Boardwalk.
On the beach, serious-faced young cowpokes trot their ponies silent-hoofed in the sand. It's an ancient rite of passage in Wildwood for both parents and kids. Watch out where you step, though, Mom and Dad. Back on the boards, it's the dinner hour, and whole families line up at restaurants like the legendary Groff's. Groff's has a killer surf and turf early bird special, and they get you in and out before you know it. Well, it's almost dark now. So let's go back to the beginning of the boardwalk, and I'll take you on my evening tour. And what a trip it is. Let's go. My pulse quickens as I head up the ramp and catch sight of the first roller coaster, glowing bubblegum pink in the distance. A southern wind brings snatches of Lou Demise crooning into the night. It is indeed great to be alive. For many, memories of the boardwalk are night memories. It is high summer. The moon sails above, silent and silver, while the sea breeze cools the air. Below, the boardwalk is a 2-mile tapestry, a dream weaving of light and color and motion. It's a full-tilt boogie from beginning to end, an amazement, a summer wonder of promenading feet and endless faces. And sun-baked bodies being slung and hurled and whirled and dropped and bumped. King Pleasure rules the night, from the kaleidoscopic grandeur of the Ferris wheel to the wild late-night ride of a middle-aged man in the funhouse car. Like the song says, every night is Saturday night, and everybody is tan and happy and all spiffed up for a spin on the boards. Come and walk with me now. The true flash and filigree of the boardwalk begins for me at Out of Africa, which is usually playing some kicking up-tempo music. Some people even get so carried away that they form a conga line and actually boogie down the boardwalk. Napoleon said an army travels on its stomach, and the same is true of boardwalkers. You can literally eat your way from end to end. But I'm going to let Jim Quinn tell you all about that. I've known Jim since our underground newspaper days, and today is one of the best-known food writers in America.
Boardwalk food has the same relationship to regular food as free love does to marriage. It's a lot more fun, and it's probably not very good for you if you do it all your life long. But you're not doing it all your life long. This is your vacation. This is the summertime. This is the boardwalk in Wildwood, and you're only here for a little while. So now, for this brief time, you don't have to worry about cholesterol. You don't have to worry about fat content. You don't have to worry about calories. You really can't gain any weight or do any serious harm to your body if you keep eating and walking at the same time. After all, you're getting exercise too. Now, the funny thing about boardwalk food is not that it's recreational eating, which is what it is. It's also that some of it is very good food, surprisingly enough, and it's made of really good ingredients and made in a natural kind of way. So, in order to find these kind of people who make this kind of food, what you have to do is find a place where there's a person who really thinks this kind of food, whatever it is, French fries, pizza, soft-serve ice cream, is really important. And they spend a lot of time and a lot of money making sure that it tastes different and better than anybody else can make it. When you buy this kind of food, you're not only getting recreational eating, free calories that you don't have to worry about, you're also getting an American folk art. There's no place anywhere in the world where you can get food like this and actually get food that you can eat.
Ah, romance. On the boardwalk, romance comes in every size, shape, color, and age. It's as varied and open as the place itself. You can see it on the rides, the tram cars, the benches, or the stools at a wheel game. pizza parlor or waffle stand. Everyone is looking at everyone else, and many of them are hitting on one another or dreaming about it. Some are dressed provocatively, others more plainly, but almost all are looking or being looked at. Pre-teens and teens can be seen taking their first awkward crack at being cool and seductive. Some of the older ones in their 20s just want to be hip and wild looking as they stroll down the boards together, looking for their tribe. If you watch closely, you can spot fiancés, honeymooners, couples on the rebound, divorcees, first-time parents, and others who have been together for years, or just the weekend. Almost all of them are holding hands, or more, on the boardwalk. With its hypnotizing flashes of neon and kinetic throbbing din on the edge of a moonlit beach by a glinting summer sea under the stars, it just feels like a perfectly natural place to do such things. From its very beginning, the boardwalk, whether full of parasols or computer games, has been one thing among many, a romantic interlude. While high-tech stuff and virtuality are part of the boardwalk mix now, it's the old-time stuff that keeps the generations coming back. If families are the heart of the boardwalk, the traditional old games and rides are its soul. Who hasn't been for a spin on the merry-go-round? Or been stopped at the top of the Ferris wheel? Or screamed in delighted fear as their stomach fell from the top of the roller coaster? Or who hasn't stopped to watch a muscle man try and ring the bell? And the milk can toss and the ring toss look so easy until you get up at the line and try to do it yourself. And what do you get if you win? Stuffed animals mostly, but remember, they are boardwalk stuffed animals, and magical as such, often treasured for years. The Lord said, "I will make you fishers of men," and they cast out their nets every night at the Boardwalk Chapel. I've always had mixed feelings about this plain white building, probably from being brought up a hellfire and brimstone Methodist. So I'm glad I had this conversation. This is John Stevenson. He's director of the Boardwalk Chapel. First of all, how long have you been here?
I've been here 22 summers. The chapel itself has been here for 55 years, but the last 22 years I've been director. 77 consecutive nights we have programs here at the chapel.
Broadly speaking, what would you say would be the chapel's mission?
To proclaim clearly the gospel of Jesus Christ.
How is that done? What is the process?
The process is to help young people focus on what it is they believe, because how can you share your belief if you don't know what you believe yourself? You may have a knowledge of it, you may have something that you know about it, but we try to train them, what is it that you believe, and then that way they are able to repeat it, not only through their testimonies here at the chapel, but also as they go out onto the boardwalk looking for opportunities to witness.
One of my favorite people-watching places on the boardwalk is a tattoo parlor. My grandfather had two small, shakily drawn tattoos that he did himself while sailing before the mast in the British Navy. Today, tattoos are big business, especially on the boardwalk. I guess everybody wants to be different by being the same. And God bless the tram cars. Who could ever forget the tram cars? Everybody makes fun of "watch the tram car, please," but at the end of a long, hot summer night or when the legs give out, who you gonna call? They're also great for lugging camera equipment up and down the boardwalk. On September 12th, there were September 11 t-shirts on the boardwalk. But that is part of the zen of the t-shirt. They're our communications system in one sense, with messages from the sublime to the ridiculous. They're also a long-time business staple of the boardwalk.
These are my friends, Iris and Natty. I've known them since I started coming to the boardwalk. Many mornings when I was riding my bike on the boardwalk, I would bring coffee and have coffee with Iris, and we would talk over the state of the world and the state of the t-shirt art. This t-shirt palace is actually a meditation on the art of the t-shirt. How did you guys get into the t-shirt business?
We started in 1990. We just got us from Florida. We work on in the t-shirt business also down in Florida, and the owner said, "We come to Wildwood, have a place here and nice, and we can have fun and work and make a couple bucks." And we said, "All right, we come up here." We started, and slowly from salesman on the floor become bought the place, and now we have 5 locations in Wildwood. And
he's the manager of this
I'm
store.
the manager of this store, of course. And thank God, everything's fine, nice. We love Wildwood. It's nice, and families love it. It's beautiful, and we try to keep it as best as we can for the people and for Wildwood.
This is George Greenland. He's lieutenant of police here in North Wildwood. We're right on the tram car tracks right now, so if we have to break down, you'll bear with us, but it's cement and we don't get a bounce in the picture. So, and also George has a few young men out there keeping the tram car away. George, how long have you been on the force in North Wildwood?
20 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you from down here?
I am. North Wildwood, grew up here.
Really?
Yeah. Great town, love it here.
So you've seen the boardwalk undergo some changes.
Major changes, and like I say, it just gets better and better all the time. You look around us here on the boardwalk tonight, you see families everywhere, and we're seeing more and more of a family crowd all the time, and that's, of course, what we want to see.
And yet, you know what's funny? I tell people the boardwalk in Wildwood is wonderful. I say all the things basically you just said, and I even tell them we're going to make a film about the boardwalk, and they always say, well, are you going to get the violence in it? The danger in it? And I said, what violence, what danger? I don't see any. I'm just wondering from where you sit.
That's about it. You see, this is one of our busiest nights up here, Friday, Saturday nights. We're up here Saturday night tonight, and like I said, no problems up here at all. And the boardwalk is heavily patrolled. Very little problems at all out here.
So that is, in fact, a bad rap.
No doubt about it, yeah.
I guess, in the final analysis, you're working to put yourself out of business.
Well, I don't know if we'll ever go out of business, but like I say, we enjoy our job here, and there's a lot going on in North Wildwood. As you can tell, we call ourselves the parade capital of New Jersey, and we have parades and constantly something going on, concerts going on right now. So there's a lot going on in this town, and keeps us busy.
Great talking to you.
Good talking to you,
Thank
too.
you.
Generations have moved up and down the boardwalk like the endless waves and tides of the great North Atlantic Ocean beside it. It can be a special place for families, a place to experience nothing less than an authentic all-American ritual. Those who have been recently initiated or are deeply seasoned to the boardwalk often feel a giddy compulsion to share it with others, especially their children or grandchildren. At the height of the summer, it is very common to see 2 or 3 generations strolling the boardwalk together. Everyone's eyes is bright with anticipation and excitement as the youngest. In this sense, the boardwalk serves as an informal or unspoken locale for family reunions. It can also be a very unique place to revisit memories together, almost like walking through a virtual home movie, and at the same time, a fun place to create new ones. At its best, the boardwalk can be the ultimate summer family idol, in which generations share, express, reminisce, and initiate, just by having a good time together. Sometimes in the hours just before dawn, if you are lucky enough, you may get to see a rare visual treat. When the boardwalk is dark and quiet, nature can put on its own incandescent light and sound show, a passing dazzlement of raw power, rolling thunder, and driving rain that transitions the night to dawn and leaves the new day fresh and cool and clean. In this fleeting hour-long trip, I've tried to take you through the seasons, as well as a day in the life of a place that looms very large, both physically and in the imagination. The boardwalk has been a place for me to observe, to investigate, and to reflect upon, all the while having a good time. I've described it as free, public, tribal, and a carnival. I rejoiced over 250,000 people on a summer Saturday night and whispered a feeling like the last man on earth. I've waxed poetic about the mysterious deep blue sky of the boardwalk dusk in the same breath as pizza, roller coasters, and curly fries, since they are one and the same, uniquely American. And as a writer, I couldn't resist a recurring literary fantasy, strolling the boards and riding the tram car or Ferris wheel with Walt Whitman, Mark Twain, Thomas Wolfe, Jack Kerouac. For I believe that each of these poets of the American experience would recognize and embrace something of what they found in their own time. And so my walkabout has ended, yet the songline of the boardwalk goes on. We sing it into existence with each step, each word, each laugh, each delight. It is a path through time itself, real and understandable in an increasingly abstract world, yet still magic for all that. It is the magic of memory and place for each of us. The shades of generations walk with us there, into the future, and we are forever young.